The first time I met Martha Ama Akyaa Pobee, she smiled at me in a way that felt like home. She was the one who handed me my appointment certificate in July 2025 as the first UN Global Advocate for Peace at the United Nations headquarters. And she was the one who introduced me on stage at Summer Stage in Central Park, which was my very first assignment. She stayed through the event, checked in on me, made sure I was okay. Mama Martha, as I call her, is the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Africa, leading the UN's political and peace-building work across the continent. In 2015, she became Ghana's first female permanent representative to the United Nations. In this episode of What Makes You Human, we talk about responsibility, hope, and the humanity behind power.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us, and welcome to the What Makes You Human podcast. My name is Mariam Bukar Hassan, and it's such an honor to be in your presence.
Thank you very much, Marian, and I really welcome this opportunity.
Thank you. Before I dive into the question, I just want you to please talk to young women about how they can hold themselves accountable to be trusted with roles that can change lives. Because I feel like when it comes to serving in such a space, it also has to do with dignity and trust and so many things. But I would love to learn from your well of wisdom.
Thank you, Mariam, and to all the young ladies who are listening in. I want to say that the first thing is to believe in yourselves. You have to have a strong belief in what you're able to do. Believe also that you have a gift. You're gifted. We all are gifted. And how to apply the gifts to humanity. And it starts in very small ways. It doesn't have to be big. You take your time within your own community. What is going wrong that you can help with? Growing up as a student in a boarding school, we had 3 villages around the school, and they needed help. These were deprived villages. And every Sunday, because we had the time off, we would go pick up a basket for plaster and dressing for sores, walk 2 to 3 kilometers to the villages to clean up the wounds, little wounds and cuts that we could dress, to make a change, to make a difference. And I did this for about 4 years whilst I was in school.
Wow.
And so building that community sense of responsibility to giving back to the community. So in small ways, and then it grows on you. And when opportunities open up, you're also able to do this and extend it to the wider world. So yes, first of all, the confidence in yourself, respecting yourself, your dignity. There's so much going on in the world these days that I didn't have to grow up seeing.
Right.
And I think especially young girls need to have a sense of purpose and to see beyond all the glitter, to see more like, how do I contribute to humanity in little ways?
Right.
And it will come to you. When you lie in bed, think about the big world outside. Think about just beyond your doors. And you will see easily where you can be of help. And as I said, you do your little and others build on it. So that's the advice I want to give to young people.
Thank you
young
so
women.
much for sharing. You mentioned how we can use our gifts to contribute to humanity. So I want to ask our mother, Mama Pobee, when you hear the word humanity or the question, what makes you human, what comes to mind?
For me, it's being able to empathize. If you don't have that sense, it's not all about you, but also see your joy in the joy of others. I mean, you may have plenty, but if next door a child goes hungry,
Right.
how do you have joy in that, in eating what you eat? So for me, it's about empathy, it's about kindness, it's about seeing yourself in the other person.
Right.
And sometimes just counting your blessings because you could have been there. It's just you're born into a family, you're born into a community, you're born into a specific country. I tell you, sometimes I wake up in the mornings and I'm thinking of some woman or child in Sudan or in Gaza, in other parts of the world. I mean, and am I saying that I'm happy? Okay, in the comfort of your home. And I think that being human is just recognizing that we are part of a bigger world, the link we have with other human beings and with nature around us, and making sure that there's harmony. It's difficult to sometimes think of how you can make that difference. Indeed, you ask yourself, what I'm doing, can it make any impact, let's say, on the woman in Sudan or the girl child who's afraid of being raped in Sudan?
Right.
In little ways, yes, just even talking about it is making move, acting. And so you have to also express that humanity.
Yeah.
It's not just feeling like sorry, but you have to do something in the hope that it will ultimately reach somewhere, some ear who can take that action. So being human for me, it's more than a position you've earned or very wise or knowledgeable. You've been to the best schools and so on, and you're lovely looking and so on. But it's really looking deep inside and seeing yourself in your neighbor.
Right. And when you talk about this, it brings me to like the point of like self-discovery and then also coming to self-amplification. Was there like a time when you look back on your life when there was like a moment you realized this is who I am, not the diplomat, but the person behind the role? Because sometimes it's so easy to forget about who you are and be consumed by the role. Was there like a moment of reflection?
Maybe I'll say several moments. Because I come from a family that's I'm not from, I grew up from very humble beginnings. And as education, you get educated, you get opportunities and so on. I used to ask myself why. It was just, why am I doing well and the next person is not?
Right.
And then maybe you have something to do, there's a purpose, look for it. What is the purpose to my life? It's a question that I've been asking myself, particularly after I got married, actually.
Right.
Because you're searching, you're trying to finding a husband, that kind of thing we all go through.
Yeah.
And then after the husband, then you want to have children as a typical family. And I couldn't have a child of my own.
Right.
So then I started to think, okay, maybe there's something else I should be doing. And then I realized there were so many children around.
Right.
There were so many children around. I started to listen.
Wow.
And people calling me mom or that kind of thing. So I said, well, maybe you should channel your energies there. And you soon found that you could contribute so much to lives, mentorship, mentoring. Sometimes you find yourself paying for people's education.
Right.
So is that at that moment I thought it's not about me and my own, but I'm giving gifts that I need to give out.
Absolutely.
And that I think is a commitment. Realization of that is the first thing.
Right.
And being committed and ensuring that you're doing a good job of it. So there are moments, but it's different types of my life. And then I add them all up and I think, oh, this is what I should be doing.
Wow.
And part of my job here, after being an ambassador for 5 years, I got the offer barely 8 months after I retired, after my husband passed on, still looking for things to do. And I was kind of offered this position. And the question I've also asked myself now, what can I do to make a difference to the millions in Africa who go to bed afraid, who have nothing to eat, who are deprived, who are running from conflict?
Right.
How can I help?
And just to piggyback on what you just said, it leads us to the next question. In the work that you've been doing, is there a single encounter with a woman or a young person or a displaced community or peace builder that changed how you see the humanity, humanity or your mission since you started?
I've met several women who have recounted on my visits to some of the countries I've been to Mali, been to Chad, the DRC, and so on. I mean, I've met Somalia, women who talk about their experiences, but also how they've, risen out of the resilience and managed to rise out of it, and now are contributing to society. But I've also been in places like Chad, witnessing refugees coming in from the fighting in Sudan. At the very border, I had the privilege of traveling with the Deputy Secretary General to Adri and seeing women and children on donkey carts with just what they could gather fleeing from their homes. And hearing these women with their children, the harrowing stories they told of what they'd been through on those perilous journeys to safety. And also seeing the masses of people just under tents. I mean, I think that if more people could experience or see what it means to be in those kind of situations, perhaps it would elicit the kind of empathy and the will to do the right things and to remember that at the end of the day, it's about these people, what we need to do to get them safety to the minimum.
Absolutely.
So it was for me a real horrible, let me put it that way, experience of seeing that. And there were several camps we visited, and I think the UN at that time was even struggling to find tents, struggling to find the logistics, find the money, just to accommodate and they were arriving like 2,000 a day across the border at that time. So those were the lucky ones who managed to get through. So it is that experience that taught me, yes, indeed, we should be able to do, no matter how small, we should continue to, or daunting the challenges are politically, we have to continue to make the noise and the effort because the people are counting on us. They're counting on us to do that.
And like you said, we need to continue to make the noise and the effort. And when we talk about the effort, we have to also remember that it comes with emotional, spiritual, and mental weight. So how do you recharge whilst carrying this weight in your workplace and in the spaces that you're able to visit? Because that definitely takes like emotional toll.
Absolutely, it does. And for me, it is my first thing in the morning, devoting my 15 minutes, some meditation. And as a Christian woman, I take a verse and I just meditate on it. But also in doing so, because one of the first things I do is look at my phone and the news coming through. And I just, at that moment, just a quiet prayer for the day, and saying that, may whatever I do today, I have to remember that it is about these horrific stories. May what I do today impact positively. May others be able to also build on it. May I never forget. And so it is that daily thing. And for me, it puts me in the right place. That I'm in a privileged spot. There's something I can do, and I should continue doing it.
Thank you for sharing.
So it gives me that calmness that, yes, indeed, there's a pathway. We hope that more will join that journey to making this world a better place. But we have to keep going.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. You represent Africa, and I would like to ask, what gives you hope about the people in Africa today, even in the face of conflict, fragility, climate pressures, and youth disillusionment?
No, I think Africans, and being an African, we have some inbuilt resilience. I don't know where we got it from. But if you look back at the time of slavery, before slavery, our history as a people, what has divided us or sought to divide us has not really succeeded. And we are people of the earth. We are life affirming. No matter the daunting challenges, we always seek to live on. They are strong people, the Africans, creative, and we have I think, maybe just the spirit to go on, and the pride and dignity that is in. Sometimes you talk about even the people in the displaced camps and so on. They have the dignity that they want to keep.
Right.
People, the typical African does not want to hold a bowl and go for food. They want to be able to grow their own.
Yes.
They want to rear a few chickens there, even in that small space. I think it tells a lot about what we feel about ourselves. I think if we had more opportunity as a continent, as a people, with the right leadership, that will be supportive of what is inherently ours, we can make it.
Yes.
So I believe in the African spirit.
Yeah.
We still smile. We dance, even when we cry.
Yes.
And when you go to a typical funeral, I'm Ashanti, and we go to a funeral, we dance, even as we cry.
Yes.
So that tells you something about the African.
That's very true. That's very true. I'm curious, and this is away from work, but what is your most memorable childhood memory?
Oh my goodness. What do I remember? I mean, good or bad? Good, positive, right? As a child, I think I was doted on by my father so much. My father was my idol. I loved him to bits, more than my mom. My mom is a disciplinarian. He was the one who spoilt me. And I remember once my father had this thing in his office. He was going with his friends, but he decided, no, she's going to be I'm going to escort him to the dance. And so my mom dressed me up. Must have been about 6.
Yeah.
And possibly feeling sleepy then anyway. So I got to go to this place and introduced me to all his colleagues in the office and called me his princess. And that gave me a lot of, I felt very proud. Felt very good. It's something that at that young age I've never forgotten.
Yeah.
And just being with my dad. Unfortunately, he passed on. But it's life.
It's life.
But I think possibly he may have sown a seed at that time. Because I could walk with giants and big people then and felt like, yes, I belonged in this space.
Yeah.
So I think that must have done a lot for me because, I'm not intimidated easily. I see there's a problem, my knees shake a bit, but only I feel the knees shaking. Nobody else sees.
Right.
But I go and tackle it. And I say, others have done it.
Yes.
So I can do it too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I mean, for me, like growing up, my mom was my idol. My father never really supported.
Okay.
I think it's just a situation of like this intergenerational gap where what they knew was just finish school, get a job, and that's it. So he didn't kind of understand where I was going with the art. So there was some sort of like bitterness and things, but just listening to how because I can't relate. I can't talk about my father like that. But like just you talking about your father, I wonder if you have a message to fathers, especially African fathers, you know how they can be very, in terms of like your career and things like, I was wondering if you have a message for them to sort of maybe believe in us a little bit more and just let us do our thing.
Well, fathers, really, especially your daughters, try to. They have something wonderful to give to the world. So those who prefer to educate the boys rather than the girls, come on.
Yeah.
Give them a chance, and they will they will surprise you.
Yeah.
Girls are, I think, more resilient. I have 3 brothers. I know how it is.
Yeah.
So we are the stronger ones. No matter what anybody says, we're strong. We're built to be strong.
Yes.
And so fathers allow the girls to bloom and to do what? And there's a lot to contribute to the world, as we've seen in peace and security, including women in all these processes yields better dividends, I think. So we hold up half the sky, perhaps a little bit more. So give them a chance and let them bloom and achieve their full potential.
Thank you so much, fathers. That's for you. And this is for you.
Oh my goodness.
A scarf.
Okay.
That says human.
Oh, this is so lovely.
Yeah.
And it's pink.
Yes.
So
Thank you,
Miriam.
so much. Thank
you as always.
Thank
always
you.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for doing what you do, huh?
Thank you.